back. Sorry for the some stop. It gives some problem like PPT. Really sorry for that. Okay, the layer 2 attack landscape. We'll discuss about the some very important stuff about the layer 2. It might be MAC attack. It might be VLAN. It's like hopping attack. It might be DHCP attack, ARP attack, and some spoofing attack, and some STP attack, etc. Okay, you know that campus network design. This one is applicable for the enterprise company. It might be applicable for the university. It might be applicable for the others company. It might be banks, army, police, everywhere. It is applicable. It's called campus network design. This one also called hierarchical network design. We define some hierarchy. It's called access. It's called distribution. Is also called core. Okay. If you see here in the pictures, okay, there's different layers. Top of this layers building access. In the access layer, basically your end user customers, end user device will connected from the access layers, where we can apply some layer 2 mitigation techniques. So layer 2 is really painful for service providers, telcos, even in the enterprise company. It's really painful. Why? What is the reason behind that? It is not easy to identify what's the problem is. You cannot easily figure out the problem. That's why we need to apply some policy and procedures when we deploy the layer 2. Okay. The access layers will apply some access control policy for the end user device. In the distributions layer, we can filtering some layer 3 informations, load balancing between them, and apply some access control mechanisms. Which one is greater than layer 2 informations? Okay. In the core layer will not do anything, just routing. For fast switching, fast processing, we use the core layer. Okay, nothing else. Okay, layer 2 attack categories is called MAC layer attack. You know about the MAC address? Is a physical address of the device, which is unique in your network. Okay, it's uniquely identified in your network. Okay, MAC address. One of these MAC address flooding. MAC address flooding. That means who learn MAC address, who identify your device, who can recognize your device. Only the active device can understand your device, which device is connected with you. They easily identify. Okay. That is called MAC address. Is a layer 2 information. Is a physical address. Based on the physical address, you identify which device is connected and which device is not connected. Okay, the layer 2 device forward a packet based on the MAC address. If you are not getting MAC address, your communications will not be established. Okay, that's why MAC address is important. But using that address, the attacker makes your device as a passive device, like how? Okay. That is called MAC address flooding. Flooding, that means they will send a MAC address. They will resolve your buffer. MAC address table capacity completely full. There is no space. Then the device cannot handle the MAC address, cannot identify your legitimate user's MAC address. Then it works like a how? Then it's problem. Okay? MAC address flooding, the frame with unique invalid source MAC address for the switch adjusting content addressable memory is called CAM. MAC address media access controls informations or table space, disallowing new entries from valid host. Traffic to valid host is subsequently flooded out all ports. That means flooding. They will send the MAC address from all these ports except that port which source is originated. Okay. What are the steps to mitigate MAC address flooding? This is the problem. What is the solution? The solution is port security. In the access layer, you can define port security mechanism. From that mechanisms, your MAC address flooding problem will be resolved. They define how many MAC address you will learn from that interface. 1 address, 2 address, 10 address, not more than 10. If you learn more than 10 address from that interface, the interface alert send alert information for you. Hey guys, from that interface, I am getting more than 10 MAC address. What should I do? You define some action, shut down that port. That particular port will be shut down. Then rest of the customers will not suffer. Rest of the users may not be suffered. Okay. One of the mitigation steps is port security. MAC address VLANs. Here you can use also access MAC. Okay. VLAN hopping attack. A double tagging attack. That is another attack in the layer 2. Okay, by altering the VLAN ID, a packet encapsulated for trunking, an attacking device can send or receive a packet on various VLAN bypassing layer 3 security measures. How can you mitigate from VLAN hopping attack? You have to disable DTP, dynamic trunking protocols, and you have to also define some like trunk port or access port. Disabling DTP, that means if that is access port, you have to define switch port or access. If that is trunk port, you have to define, okay, this port could be trunk port. That means your auto negotiations functionality will be disabled, so that the attackers who try to attack from VLAN hopping attack may or may not be exploited. Okay. The next one is an attack between a device on a common VLAN. Okay. You can use private VLAN. If your device support, you can use a private VLAN. Likewise, the next problem will be spoofing attack. It might be DHCP starvations or DHCP spoofing attacks. The attackers send very huge number of DHCP requests to the DHCP server, and they consume all the available address from that DHCP pool. If your legitimate users request DHCP to your DHCP servers, there is no space, there is no available IPv4, IPv6 address in your legitimate DHCP server. Then they cannot give IPv4 address to your customers or to your legitimate users. That is one kind of attack. Is called DHCP starvations attack. The next one is DHCP spoofing attack. The DHCP spoofing attack is a kind of man in the middle attack. What the hacker or cracker is doing is they run raw DHCP server in their network, okay, which is near than the legitimate DHCP server. Okay, the request. So when the client on and when the client requests a DHCP and you the raw DHCP server give response, give different IP. Okay, during that time you can use your username, password, something. You try, but it will not happen. They just sniffing your packet. They gather your information. That type of attack is DHCP snooping attack. Okay. We can also, how can we mitigate DHCP starvation or DHCP attack? We can define some mechanism. It's called DHCP snooping trust and DHCP snooping untrust. Which interface is trusted interface and which interface is not trusted interface. The interface which is facing your legitimate DHCP server is trusted. Okay? The interface which is connected to the customers or others is not trusted. You can define, okay, if any request came from this port, hey DHCP server, please respond them. Otherwise, rest of the ignore. In this way, you can mitigate DHCP snooping attack.
And how to mitigate DHCP starvation?
Okay, for the DHCP starvations, again, you can use port security. In the access node, in the port security, you define how many MAC arrays you learn from that port, 2, 3, or 4. It is okay. If attacker try to send more than 2 or 3 or 5 MAC address from that interface will be short. Okay. In this way, your DHCP starvations may not be happening. Okay. The next one might be spanning tree compromise. Basically, do you know what is spanning tree do? In the layer 3, there is a field called TTL, time to live value, in the header, network headers. But in frame headers, there is no such field like TTL. Okay. In the layer 2, they create some loop. The same packet originate and send and again receive. It creates some loop. How can we mitigate the layer 2 loop? To mitigate the layer 2 loop, we can use STP. It's called spanning tree protocols. The spanning tree protocols listen in your network and identify, okay, this is my root bridge. If any packets originate from any of the source can receive from multiple paths, I will define my primary path and the secondary path. For the primary path, I will accept the information. For the secondary path, I will not accept the data. Why? If we accept those data from primary as well as the secondary, the packet will be loop replicate. Okay. In the fully converged spanning tree protocols, they define these are my designated port or root port or something like that, primary link, and these are my secondary link. If the same packet originates from these locations to these locations, I will accept from this and deny from this. If the same packet originates from the source and sent to the again destination the same source, they will not allow. In that mechanism, STP prevent layer 2 loop. To prevent a layer 2 loop, we use STP, spanning tree protocols. But spanning tree protocol is not recommended to run service provider network or the telcos. It is not recommended. You can use other tools in the service provider network. It might be if you are on MPLS in your backbone. Okay, like VLAN, you can use BPLS, right? If you are running Cisco, that is called BFI. Or virtual instance is called BPLS. The BPLS is just like a VLAN, extending your VLAN using the multiple PE. Using a VLAN, BPLS and the creating a VLAN from switch, exactly like the same. They also get some loop. It again problem in service provider network. That's why these days new concept came, new technology came, is called eVPN, Ethernet VPN. In the Ethernet VPN, they will not run MAC. No need to worry about the loop, layer 2 loop. They will work in the layer 3, but they can pass layer 2 informations from one location to another locations. Okay. But the signaling protocol might be different. It may not be LDP, it may be BGP based. We can get BGP based. That is the solution. Or we can also use, okay, so many other solutions are also available. Ethernet ring protections, ERPS, that is also another solutions rather than using the STP. Okay. There are so many variant STP like STP, RSTP, and MSTP. Rapid explanatory protocols, multiple explanatory protocols. Especially in the service provider network, it is not recommended to run. Okay, if you are running STP in a small network, okay, it's okay, fine. Even though from the STP, the attackers can change your route, changing the route bridge. You have to use some features, you have to use some mitigation techniques to prevent spanning tree compromise using the root guard. They will not accept BPDU, it's called Bridge Protocol Data Unit, from the customer network, from the others network. Okay, you can use BPDU. Okay, for to mitigate, you have to enable root guard. The root guard will not accept BPDU from the others device, other non-trusted devices. MAC spoofing, again, use DHCP spoofing on port security. Okay. R, Advanced Resistance Protocol spoofing, R spoofing. That is another dangers. In IPv6, there is no more R. The beauty of using IPv6 is they will not use R. They use ICMP-v6 instead of the R. There is no broadcast in IPv6. They use multicast instead of broadcast. In IPv6, the protocol stack, they define IPv6. They define ESP and AS header in the protocol stack. Okay, so many changes are there in IPv6. Okay, in IPv4 still 94% content are in the IPv4. It might take some time to migrate completely from IPv4 to IPv6. During that time, the ARP is the major part. Have you tried ping google.com or something like ping yahoo.com or ping bbc.co.uk? If you ping google.com or yahoo.com, why your first request timeout? First time whenever you ping google.com, you will found like 80% success, 20% is failure. Why? What is the reason behind that? Have you any idea? Have you ever tried ping google.com and first packet is request timeout, from the second packet you will get a reply from the Google? Have you did? Why? What is the reason behind that? Sorry? Yes. The ARP is not resolved. The ARP is not there. As a service provider, the customer is always complain, my network is not working. What happened? The customer called to the ISP. Okay, ISP guy is saying, oh, there is no problem. I can see your MAC address. What happened is sometimes the same IP address can give for multiple customers. The address resolution protocol is not clear. It's not flawless. At that time, the customer will suffer. Okay, customer A get some IP. Let's assume 202.50.100.10. Okay, he disconnected, and another customer B try to connect your network. You will get 202.51.100.10 address. Okay, that address R is not clear, is not flawless from the database. Okay. Then what happened? The customer complained, oh, I cannot connect the internet. There is some problem. You can see incomplete R table for that customers, or you can get same MAC address, same of R in multiple IP or other customers. There might be problem. It's called ARP, Address Resolution Protocols. To resolve this ARP issue, we can use DAI type. It's called dynamic ARP inspections. Okay, and DSC sweeping, and definitely port safe. Okay. These are the mitigation techniques. Okay. Another is CDP. If you are using Cisco protocol, discovery protocols, CDP send all information in a clear text, in a simple text. Anyone can easily see the content. Anyone can easily read those content. Those content are not in the ciphertext. Okay, the STP might be some problem. That's why if you need STP, you can enable, otherwise disable STP. Another protocol is LLDP, link level discovery protocols. That is also another part. If you need, you can run. If you don't need, you can just disable. Okay, SHS. That is another part. Most of the network engineers they are saying, what is the difference between telnet and SSS? Yes, SSS is secure, telnet is not secure. Why? Whenever you use telnet, they will send username and password in the clear text. When you use SSS, they will send your username and password in the ciphertext. It will not be in the clear text. They will encrypt and send. Wow. Most of the network engineers they are saying they are just wrong. SSS. But SSS, if you run SSS by default, that will be SSS version 1.9. In SSS version 1.9, there is some vulnerability. They will send the username and password in a clear text. That's why don't use SSS version 1.9. You have to use SSS version 2. That is the problem. You just create SSS. Okay, in my network I'm using SSS. That means my username and password is in the clear text. You just assume it. But in reality, if you run SSS version 1.9, if you are not changed, by default it will be SSS version 1.9. In SSS version 1.9, there is some vulnerability. Okay, in that vulnerability, they will send your username and password in the clear text. That's why you have to use SSS versions 2 to mitigate those problems. Okay, let's see one by one of this problem. Understanding the protecting against MAC layer attack. Okay, the MAC address, a CAM table. So review is a 48. The MAC address is a 48-bit long. Everybody knows. The 48-bit MAC address we divide in the two sections. First 24-bit and the second 24-bit. The first 24-bit is assigned by IEEE, and the second 24-bit is assigned by the manufactured, okay, like this, 48 bit. If you see this address, FFFFFF, that is it's called layer 2 broadcast. CAM table, content addressable memory table, stand for CAM stand for content addressable memory. The CAM table store information such as MAC address, okay, available on the physical port with their associated VLAN parameters. Okay, all CAM table have a fixed size. The device has a fixed capabilities. Okay, if your device can handle up to 4K MAC address, that is the capacity, maximum capacity. Okay, what is the normal CAM tables CAM behavior? Okay, like this. This is a switch. It's port 1, port 2, and port 3. Switch port 1 connected with the MAC A, port 2 MAC B, and port 3 MAC C. Okay, B is unknown for the frame. Okay, MAC A knows. They define MAC A port 1, MAC C for 3. It is okay. And the MAC B is unknown. At that time, they will flood all of this device. Hi guys, what is your MAC address? That's ARP flood. They don't have a MAC address of the PCB. They will flood it. And the PCB replied, okay, my MAC address is this. And then that is also stored in this port. True, and learning B MAC address. That is the normal behavior of the CAM table or MAC table. This is the normal behavior. Okay? That is the normal behavior is learned. And the CAM overflow, content addressable memory overflow. The hacker and cracker or the attacker can use some sophisticated tools so that your CAM tables will be overflow. Okay? They can use map of tools since 1999. About 100 lines of POS. This map of tools is written in the POS script. Okay, is included in the script and attacked successfully by exploiting the size limit on CAM table. These are the different flavors. Ericinia flavor of the month attack tools. Using that tools, the attackers can fill your CAM table size. It's assume that CAM tables now full. Let's see traffic B. Traffic to B. This address is full. The CAM table is completely adjusted. The CAM table is completely full. Using these tools. Okay. You're using map of tools. Map loading switch with map off. This is the sophisticated tools. Most of the attacker use these tools to overflow, to buffer overflow your near to device or switch. The map of send random source MAC and IP address much more aggressive if you run this command. Basically, this command run in the Linux box. It might be Ubuntu or whatever. You can run these commands like map of I input ets1/dev map of part of this name. Okay, this will send so many random source MAC address in your code in ets1 and 2, and your CAM table size will be full. CAM table full. Once the CAM tables on the switch is full, traffic without a CAM entry is flooded out every port of that VLAN. This will turn a VLAN on a switch basically into hub. That means this intelligent device, the layer 2 intelligent device, behave like a passive device, like a hub. In house, there is no control. It's not an active device. It cannot control anything. It behaves like a hawk whenever your cam table size full. This attack will also fill the cam table of adjacent switch, whatever is connected, okay, using these commands. Okay, this is called MAC attack, a cam table attack. Countermeasures for MAC attack: you can use port security. You can apply port security features in the access node. That is the solution. You can define how many MAC addresses you learn from that port. Okay, let's assume I want to learn 5 MAC addresses from that port. If attacker run these sophisticated tools from that interface, if you receive more than 5 MAC addresses from that port, the port will be shut down. It might be shut down. That means the attacker's aim is not fulfilled. He or she cannot fool your cam table size. Okay, that is the options. The port security limit MAC flooding attack and lock down port and send an SNMP track to the system admin. Okay. The countermeasures for MAC attacks with IP phone. Most of the Cisco IP phones, you can connect from Cisco IP phone from any of these devices. This might be switched. Okay. At that time, phone can use 2 or 3 depending on the switch, hardware, and the software. That means the phone can use more than 2 MAC informations. One might be your PC MAC address, one might be your phone itself MAC address, whatever. It depends upon your device data set. Okay. Some switches look at the CDP traffic and some don't. If they don't, they need to. If they do, they need to. That means if you are on Cisco device, you have to run CDP or you have to run LLDP. LLDP is IEEE standard. Okay, the CDP is Cisco provider. That is the difference. Default config is disable port might want to restrict for VoIP. This feature is to protocol to protect that switch. You can make the number trying you like as long as you don't overrun the cam table. Okay. This is the example of the configurations. The configuration port security examples. Okay. Under the access port, you have to define switch port security. Under that, by default, it will protect a single MAC address. Okay. If you want to allow more than 1 MAC address, you have to specify port security maximum how many addresses that interface can run. If you define 3, okay, 3. If hacker or cracker send more than 3 billion or 3 MAC addresses from that port, it will be shut down. It will not accept it. Violations. What is the meaning of the violations? That means if from that interface, if you learn more than 3 interface or more than 3 MAC address, the action will be restrict, the action will be shut down, the action will be protected. It might be different. Aging time. What is the meaning of the aging time? Aging timer. You have to define aging time too. That means it will only available. It will again try after 2 seconds. Number is not a control access. It is a protect the switch from attack. Depending on the security policy, disabling the port might be preferred even with VoIP. Aging time of 2 and aging time inactivity to allow for phone CDP of 1. Okay, it depends on that. If If these violations occur, you will see this message. If violations error disable, the following log message will be produced. Like this time, error disable, port security violations error detections of port number this 3/2, putting 3/2 in a error disabled state. The multiple reason. If you link multiple times flat, it will be also flat. Okay. You can also define for voice VLAN and the data VLAN, etc. Port security, not all the port security creates equal. In the past, that means in a couple of years ago, okay, you can define only one MAC address, but now you can define multiple MAC address. That means you can allow multiple MAC address. You can now put a limit to how many MAC address a port will run. You can also put timer to state how long the MAC address will be bound in that switch port. They will statically bind those MAC address in that port. Okay, you can define the time range. Okay, let's assume you define 8 hours. That means these MAC address are valid only for the 8 hours. After 8 hours, new 3 MAC address can run from that port. It's not always. If you not define aging timer value, that means it's always the same. Forever, if any address try to enter from that port, the violation will be occurred. You might still want to do static MAC entries port that there should be no movement of device in the server farm. You change XXX called sticky port security setting will survive the reboot normal switch. That means you can define statically MAC address. That means you can entry static MAC address on that interface also. That is also flexibility. Port security, what you expect from that port security? The port security is one of the base tools to protect layer 2 attack. Okay, you have to apply that so that your networks makes some level of secure. When using the restrict features of port security, if the switch is under attack, you will see a performance hit on the CPU. Okay, the performance hit seen with multiple attacks happening at one time is up to 99% CPU utilizations. Okay, because the process is a low priority on all the switch packet was not drawn. Okay, telnet and management was still available. Would want to limit the SNMP messages. Don't want more than thousands. You can use it also, or you can use voice MOS score under attack were very good as long as QS was configured. QS quality of service, you can apply QS service for that also. Building the layers, port security, prevent CAM attack and DSCP starvations attack. The port security, the beauty of using the port security is to prevent CAM attack and DSCP starvations attack. The next one, VLAN hopping attack. Basic trunk port defined. Do you know about the trunk port and access port? What is the difference between trunk port and access port? Yes. Anybody knows the difference between trunk port and access port? In access port, only one VLAN can pass. Not more than one VLAN. This is called on-tag traffic pass. Trunk port, you can pass more than one VLAN traffic. That is called trunk port. Okay. Who can carry more than one VLAN? Here there is two switches. Okay. This switch and this switch, this and this switch. This define a trunk. That means this trunk port, this port can carry multiple VLAN. It might be data VLAN, it might be voice VLAN, it might be native VLAN, or it might be management VLAN. Do you know difference between native VLAN, data VLAN, voice VLAN, and the management VLAN? Do you know that? No? Why it is silent? No idea? Data VLAN basically used to pass data traffic. Voice VLAN to pass voice traffic. Management VLAN to access your device remotely. You can use separate VLAN, is called management VLAN. What about the native VLAN? Native VLAN are those type of VLANs which can be used to pass your control information to exchange between your device, between this switch and this switch. By default, the control VLAN will be the VLAN 1. The native VLAN, that is called native VLAN, is a VLAN 1. That's why it is saying don't use native VLAN as a data VLAN, don't use native VLAN as a voice VLAN, don't use native VLAN as a management VLAN. It should be separate so that the attackers cannot attack your VLAN informations. Okay, trunk port have access to all VLAN by default. Yes, they can get all these VLAN informations up to 4096. The VLAN ID, the total length of VLAN ID is a 12-bit long. To go power 12, that means 4096. Up to that, okay, all these information can pass from that trunk port, used to route traffic for multiple VLAN across the same physical link, generally between switch or phone. We can use different encapsulation type to exchange the VLAN information between one switch to another switch. It might be dot on queue or it might be ISL. The ISL is a Cisco proprietary. The dot on queue is an IEEE standard. If you run dot on queue, they will not pass native VLAN in an untagged frame. They will only pass tag traffic, not an untagged traffic. If you run dot on queue, they will pass tag as well as untagged. Okay. Dynamic trunking protocol (DTP) to prevent the VLAN hopping attack. Don't give your port as an auto. That means disable DTP is dynamic trunking protocols. That means from this switch to this switch, you define dynamic trunk protocols, DTP. What happens if you define this port as a trunk? This interface make a trunk. If you make this one access, this port will be access. It's auto and desirable. If one side you define manually trunk, it becomes a trunk. If one side you define access, it will be access. That's why don't leave DTP. That means you need to disable DTP. Manually define either this port will be access or trunk. If you need trunk, define switch port trunk. If you don't require trunk, define switch port access manually, so that your DTP will not come in the pictures. Okay, DTP synchronize the trunking mode on in link. DTP state of 2.1Q ISL trunking port can be set to auto, on, off, desirable, or non-negotiable. It might be in the different mode. Okay. Basic VLAN hopping attack. How the attackers attack VLAN hopping. And initiations can spoof as a switch with ISL or 2.1Q. The station is then a member of all VLAN. Okay, require a trunking configuration of the native VLAN to be VLAN 1. Okay, if they define the double 802.1q encapsulation VLAN hopping attack. Okay, what happens is, say 802.1q double encapsulation frame. This device strip out first and send back out. Okay, switch perform only one level of decapsulations, not more than one levels. Okay, is a unidirectional traffic only. Okay, or even if trunk port are set to off. That's why the security based practice for VLAN and trunking is always use a dedicated VLAN ID for all trunk port, disable DTP, disable unused port, and put them in a unused VLAN. Okay, be paranoid. Do not use VLAN 1 for anything. Most of the enterprise company, most of the some of the ISP also use VLAN 1. For data VLAN, VLAN 1 used for management VLAN, VLAN 1 also used for the voice VLAN. That should not be. Don't use VLAN 1. Okay. Disable auto trunking on user facing port. That means disable TTP. Explicitly configure trunking on infrastructure port. Whatever you need to carry more than one VLAN, you have to define, okay, switch port mode trunk. Don't leave without defining like access or trunk. It's more danger. Right? Use all tag mode for VLAN, native VLAN on trunk. Use PC voice VLAN access on phone that support it, and use 802.1q tag on the trunk. Okay? Don't use the ISM. The next one is DSCP attack. I have already discussed about the DSCP attack. There are two types of attack in DSCP. One is a DSCP starvation attack, and another is a DSCP spoofing attack. Okay. Here, this is the client and this is the server. The client PC define open IP automatically. Okay, they will send request to the DSCP servers and ask them what is my IP address, what is my subnet mask, what is my default routers, what is my DNS information, and what is my release time. They will ask. Okay, the client send my configurations. The client request to the DSCP server, please send me my detailed information about IP address, subnet mask, DNS servers, and the release time. And this DSCP servers reply with DSCP information, arrange your configurations, server dynamically assign IP address on demand, administrator create a pool of address available for assignment. The address is assigned lease time. The lease time, that means that IP address is applicable during that period. If that period exceeds, and again the client should request new IP address. DSCP deliver others configuration information in options. Okay, might be the client request DSCP discover broadcast. The DSCP servers response DSCP offer packet as a unicast. Okay. In the initial phase, the client does not know about the DSCP server information. That's why they will broadcast in your network. The DSCP servers response with the DSCP offer packet as a unicast, and again the DSCP client requests DSCP broadcast, and the DSCP servers response with the DSCP acknowledgement packet as a unicast. Okay, like this. The DSCP functions lower levels, DSCP request, reply type, DSCP discover, client broadcast to locate available server, the DSCP request in the broadcast, DSCP offer, server reply to the client in response to DSCP discover with offer of configuration parameters. It might be IP address, subnet mask, default gateway, lease period, DNS information. Okay. DHCP request client message to server either requesting offer parameters from one server and implicitly decline offer from all others, configures correctness of previously allocated address, example system reported or extending the list on particular network address. DHCP pack server to client, okay, with the configuration parameters, they will send DHCP acknowledgement server to the client. The server send the DHCP acknowledgement packet to the client, okay, and DHCP decline client to servers indicating network address is already in use. Okay. DHCP release client to server requesting network address and cancelling remaining list. Okay, DHCP informs client to servers, they send from client to server, okay, with this information. Okay, DHCP attack type. One of the attacks is DHCP starvation attack. The first case will be the attacker send thousands of DHCP requests to the DHCP server. Okay, and they resolve, they capture all these available IP addresses in the DHCP. There may not be remaining address in the DHCP server. If your legitimate client try to request a DHCP, then he will not get it. That is example of that is the part of the DHCP starvation attack. The attackers consume all the available addresses from that address pool. The address pool will be, there is no remaining address in the address pool. Okay, how can we protect the DHCP starvation attack? We have to define port security. From that port security, you have defined, okay, how many requests can send from that one interface. How many MAC addresses they can learn from that from that interface. If you define 3, if attacker try to send more than 3, the violation will be occur. That's why the interface will get shut down. The next one is a DHCP snooping attack. The attackers can run raw DHCP servers in their network. When the legitimate client requests DHCP, the raw DHCP server responsive, okay, then their traffic might be redirected from one location to another location. That is called man-in-the-middle attack. Okay. How can we resolve raw DHCP? How can we resolve this type of DHCP snooping attack? A DHCP attack. We can run DHCP snooping trust and DHCP snooping on trust. The interface which is connected with the trusted DHCP server define DHCP snooping trust. The interface connected with the customers, client, or the hackers is defined DHCP snooping on trust. That means the attacker can listen DHCP request, but they will not respond. They just listen in the network. This client requests a DHCP, it may come here, but he will not respond in this one because they are saying this is untrusted. Untrusted, that means if any information sent from that server as a DHCP server, the packet will be discarded. He will not accept. That's why this client can get address from the genuine DHCP server. That is DHCP snooping trust and the DHCP snooping on trust. You can define this is a trusted interface and this is not trusted interface. Okay, advanced configuration DHCP snooping. Not all operating system Linux or DHCP on link down. You can define here also, no problem. We can pass multiple parameters here also. Okay. If there are switches in the network that will not support DHCP snooping, you can configure the VLAN-based access control mechanisms to block UDP port 68. UDP port 68 response DHCP from server to client. UDP port 67 send a request from client to the server. For response from server to client, they use a UDP port 68. Using the VLAN ACL, you can block UDP port 68 if your device cannot support DHCP snooping, trust, and untrust. The summary of DHCP attack. DHCP starvation attack can be mitigated by port security, especially by starvation attack. Raw DHCP servers can be mitigated by DHCP snooping features, trusted and untrusted. When configured with DHCP snooping, all ports in the VLAN will be untrusted for DHCP reply. Check default setting to see if the DHCP address field is being checked during the DHCP request. Unsupported switches can run VLAN-based ACL, and then you can deny the response from server to the client. DHCP snooping capacity. All DHCP snooping binding table have a limit. All entries stay in the binding table until the lease run out. If you have a mobile environment, reduce the lease time to make sure the binding entries will be removed after some time. You define a lease period also. Okay. Building the security. Port security prevent CAM attack, CAM table attack, and DHCP starvation attack. DHCP snooping prevent raw DHCP server attack. Okay. Building the port security prevent CAM table, DHCP starvation attack, and the prevent DHCP snooping prevent raw DHCP server attack. The next one will be ARP attack, which I have already discussed about the ARP attack. ARP functions review. Before stations can talk to another stations, it must do an ARP request to map the IP address to the MAC address. ARP. Do you know the difference between the ARP and the RARP? The ARP, address resolution protocols, it map IP to MAC. RARP, MAC to IP. That means in ARP, the IP address is known. From that known IP address, they will identify unknown MAC address. For the RARP, they use MAC address. The MAC address is known, IP address is unknown. Okay? Before stations can talk to another stations, it must do a ARP request to map the IP address to the MAC address. That's why in the previously we also mentioned that whenever you reach a pin any of the site, the first request will be request timeout because of the ARP is not in the table to resolve the ARP. Okay. This ARP request is broadcasted using protocols 0806 is the third type. All computer on the subnet will receive and process the ARP request. Okay. That will not go from one network to another network. That will be within the same VLAN or within the same networks. It will not cross after the networks. ARP request, the stations that match the IP address in the request will send a ARP reply. Okay. They are saying like according to ARP RFC, a client is allowed to send an unsolicited ARP reply. This is called a gratuitous ARP. Other hosts on the same subnet can store these information in their ARP tables. Okay. Anyone can claim to be the owner of IP MAC address. They like ARP attack use this to redirect traffic. That's why in the security perspective, don't use proxy ARP under the interface. No proxy ARP is defined. Okay. Okay, ARP attack tools. The attacker used different sophisticated tools to attack the ARP. Many tools on the net for ARP. Man in the middle attack. It might be D-snip, chain, evil, ethercat, STNIA, etc. Basically, here we can use ethercat. Some are second or third generation of ARP attack tools. Must have a very nice GUI and almost point and click. Packet inspections may be many ARP attack. All of them capture the traffic password of applications like FTP, Telnet, SMTP, HTTP, POP, NNTP, IMAP, SNMP, LAP, RIP, OSPF, any of the routing protocols. It might be PPTP, it might be MSTAP, SOX, X11, IRC, ICQ, AIM, SMB, Microsoft, etc. All of this information they will capture. Like this, ERP attacks tools. Is a telnet. They define ethercat in actions, as you can see, run in Windows, Linux, Mac, and they decode password on the fly. This example, telnet username password is captures. Okay, you can see the username. They use the telnet. The username is administrators. The password in clear text. Cisco. If you use SSH version 2, you will not get those information in clear text. It might be in the ciphertext. That's why you don't use them. ARP attacker tools. ARP attacker tools, SSH or SSL. Using these tools, SSH or SSL sessions can be intercepted and bogus certificate credentials can be presented. Once you have expected the certificate, all SSL, SSH traffic from all SSL, SSH client can flow through the attackers. Okay. If you run proxy ARP attack tools, okay, SSL, SSL, ARP attack, ARP attack in actions. Attackers poisons the ARP table. The ARP table is poisons. They can define, okay, are saying is the 10.1.1.2 is now maxi, okay. They are saying maxi 10.1.1.3, this one, 10.1.1.2 MACB, and 10.1.1.2 is for the maxi. Maxi 1.3, ARP saying 10.1.1.1 saying 10.1.1.2 is maxi, okay, 2 is maxi, fine, and this R 10.1 is saying maxi, okay, 10.1.1 is now maxi. Next point, R table is in action. That means attacker poisons the R table. That's why don't use this interface at proxy R. You should disable the proxy R. Otherwise, they will catch the ARP tables and they can poison it. All traffic flow through the attackers. All the traffic is going by the attackers' tools. Okay. This is the attackers. All traffic going by the attackers. The attackers can gather all these informations, whatever you insert it. Okay. ARP attack cleanup. Attackers correct ARP table entries. Traffic flow return to the normals. Okay. They are saying this one is normals. The countermeasures for ARP attacks use dynamic ARP inspections. This is called DAI. Okay. You have to use DAI. Use the DS6 snooping binding tables, informations, dynamic ARP inspections. All ARP packet must match the IP, MAC address binding, table entries. If the entries do not match, throw them in the bit bucket. Countermeasure for ARP attack, use dynamic ARP inspections tools. Use the information from the DSCP snooping binding table. Okay. So IP DSCP snooping table, you can see there. look at the MAC address and IP address field to see if the ARP from the interface is in the binding. If not, traffic is blocked. Countermeasures to the ARP attack, dynamic ARP inspections, configuration of dynamic ARP inspections. DHCP snooping had to be configured so that binding table is built. Die is configured by VLAN. You can trust an interface like DHCP snooping. Be careful with rate limiting. It varies between platform. Which platform device you are using, it depends upon that. Okay. Suggested for voice is so set the rate limit above the default if you feel dial tone is important. Okay. The configuration is simple for the dial under the interface. In this example of the IS from global configurations, we have to define IP DHCP snooping VLAN 4 and 104. Okay. The DHCP snooping define trust and non-trust. Right? DHCP snooping enable in the VLAN 4 and 10. No IP DHCP snooping information options. IP DHCP snooping, IPR inspections VLAN 4 and 104. IPR inspections log buffer entries, this one, this size. IPR inspections log buffer log, this intervals. Under the interface, you define IP DHCP snooping trust. That means you can receive and send the DHCP informations. If you define IP DHCP on trust, you will not receive DHCP informations. IPR inspection trust, the iOS also exactly the same. And you can define this on. From the log, you can see like this one. Dynamic ARP inspections log, error message in the show log. From the show log, distance, die, packet, rate, exceeded. This sending a 16 packet. Not DHCP device can use static binding in the DHCP snooping binding table. From global command, you can define IP source binding this MAC address interface. This MAC address VLAN 4, this IP address interface /1. So static and dynamic in this the DHCP snooping binding table is different. Binding table informations, no entry in the binding tables means no traffic. Wait until all devices have a new list before turning on dynamic ARP inspection. Entries stay in table until the lease run out. Okay. All switches have a binding size limitation. It depends on the which vendor's switch you are using and which series switch you are using. This is the tested in the Cisco 3000 switches, 4000 switches, and 6000 series switches. Okay. ARP attack, dynamic ARP inspection prevent ARP attack by intercepting all ARP requests and response. DHCP snooping must be configured first, otherwise there is no binding table for dynamic ARP inspections to use. The DHCP snooping table is built from the DHCP request, but you can put in the static entry also. If you have a device that does not DHCP, but you would like to turn on dynamic ARP inspections, you would need static entry in the table. Okay. More ARP attack informations. Some IDS intrusion detection systems will watch for an unusual high amount of ARP entries. IDS and IPS. ARP watch is freely available tools to track IP to MAC address pairing. Okay, it's very old. We can also use other sophisticated tools which is freely available. Okay, building the layers. Again, port security, DHCP snooping, and beta. Port security prevent CAM attack and DHCP starvation attack. DHCP snooping prevent raw DHCP server attack. And dynamic arc inspections prevent current arc attack. Okay. These are the solution in the layer 2. Okay. Layer 2 attacks, spoofing attack, understanding and protecting against spoofing attack. Again, the same thing is here. I am going to repeat: port security, DSCP snooping, dynamic arc inspections, and another is IP source card. Okay. DSCP snooping attack, which already we have discussed. Okay. The case one, the first scenario, an attacker launches a DOS attack by sending thousands of DSCP requests. The DSCP server does not have the capability to determine whether the request is genuine and therefore might end up adjusting all the available IP address. This results in the legitimate client not getting an IP address by DSCP. Okay. The second scenario is like first one is a DSCP starvation. The second one will be DSCP attack, DSCP snooping attack. A second scenario happen when attacker attach a DSCP server to the network and as it's assume the role of DSCP server for that segment. This enables the intruder to give out false DSCP information for the default gateway and domain name servers, which point client to the hacker's machine. These misdirections enable the hackers to become a man in the middle and to gain access to confidential information such as username and password pair while the end user is unaware of the attack. Okay, that's why we have to define DSCP snooping. Okay, these are the trusted, which is connected to your backbone, who carry more than 1 billion. It's a trunk code. This is the customer connected interface. You define DSCP snooping on trust. The configuration example is look like this. From global configurations, you have to define IP DSCP snooping. Under that, you have to enable DSCP options 82, where you can pass multiple controlling information parameter. IP DSCP snooping information options, IP DSCP snooping trust, IP DSCP snooping limited. Under the interface, okay, IP DSCP snooping VLAN, you can also enable that VLAN. Okay. These are the example of the configurations you have defined, like this interface. Okay, more strong, you define IP DSCP snooping trust, and you have to define IP DSCP on trust. And you can also verify through IP DSCP snooping command. Arc spoofing attack, exactly the same, which we have discussed. Host A send ARP request to C, MAC address, router C reply with the MAC address, IP address. C also updates ARP cache. Host A binds C MAC address to its IP address in ARP cache. Host B attacker send ARP binding B MAC address to C address. Host A update ARP cache with B MAC address bound to C IP address. Host B send ARP binding B MAC address is IP address. Router C update ARP cache with B MAC address bound to A IP address. Packet are diverted through attacker B. B is attackers. They will capture, they will gather all the information, redirect from one location to another. To prevent ARP spoofing through dynamic ARP inspection, using the die, you can prevent this one. Okay, in the campus network design. Direct domain configurations, the DSCP snooping, and after that you can define the command die ARP inspections VLAN, which VLAN wants to apply the dynamic inspections. ARP inspections. The configuration is like this, and you can also see show IP ARP inspections interface. You can see this is trusted, these are not trusted. Why it is trusted? Because this might be the trunk port which is connected into backbone. Why others are not trusted? Because these are the connected with the customers. Catalyst switch, this could be different configurations for VLAN and the die. And the other is IP spoofing and IP source guard. You can also know the part. Attackers impersonate a legitimate host on the network by spoofing IP address of the victim. They are saying, attackers saying, is the victim, is the attackers, they are saying, attackers 10.1.1.25, hey, I am on 10.1.1. This is the victim, and there's the request will come here. IP source guard, IPSSG, prevent and malicious hosts from attacking the network with a hijacked IP address. IP source guard provide powerful traffic filtering of assigned source IP. IP source guard dynamically maintain power port ACL based on IP to MAC to switch port binding. IP source guard typically deployed for untrusted port at access layer. That's why we discussed access layer, core layer, and the distribution layer. Okay. IP source guard work closely with DSCP snooping. IP source guard operations. IP source guard can be enabled on a DSCP snooping, untrusted layer to port to prevent IP spoofing, like MAC spoofing. You can use IP source guard. At this, all IP traffic on the port is blocked except for DSCP packet captured by the DSCP snooping process. Okay. Most of the service providers, most of the telcos, if you are run VLAN in your network, you should think about it also. Even in the enterprise, you also think about it. Configure IP source guard, IP DSCP snooping, IP DSCP snooping VLAN, IP verify source IP, DSCP snooping. And under that interface, you have to define IP verify source VLAN, DSCP snooping port security, switch port security limited. You can design like this. Here, IP source guard scenario. Locations are using DSCP for acquiring IP address. Connect to the same catalyst switch as a server with the starting IP address. You have defined IP DSCP snooping, DSCP snooping VLAN 1 and 10, IP DSCP snooping with MAC address. You bind this MAC address in the interface, and that interface you also define IP verify source VLAN, DSCP snooping port security. Yes, IP verify source VLAN, DSCP snooping port security. IP source guard. Here, an attacker is connected to interface 2/10 and he is trying to spoof IP address of the server. They are saying, I am a server. They use the IP address of the server and trying, and the catalyst switch detect that, drop the packet in the hardware path. The catalyst switch also provide an error message to indicate the violations, so that the attacker cannot use the IP address of any of the customers or any of these networks. In this way, we can mitigate IP source guard issue and the ARP issue. Spoofing attack, MAC spoofing, IP spoofing, might be ping update, ICMP on number storm, sync loading, trust IP address can be spoofed like this. Spoofing attack might be MAC spoofing or IP spoofing. MAC address spoofing like this, spoofing MAC address, IP source spoofing IP address can be used, IP source guard. From that we can mitigate it. The countermeasures for attack, IP source guard, configure IP source guard is look like this one. DSP snooping had to be configured to binding the table in build. IP source guard is configured by port. The IP source card with MAC address does not learn the MAC from the device connected to the switch. It learns it from the DSCP output. That's why we need to use DSCP snooping before using the IP source card. Clear off source guard, MAC and IP checking can be drawn on separate or together. For IP, will go with the informations in the binding table. For MAC, must have a options 80 to enable DHCP server. That means we have to enable the option 82 in DHCP servers. Most of yours in user device, CP device may or may not be support DHCP 82 options. Most entries do not need to check the MAC address with IP source card. There are no known good attacker that can be used this information in the enterprise network. Countermeasures for spoofing attack, IP source card, and the we can define like this. Building the layers. Yes, here. Port security prevent can attack and DHCP starvation attack. DHCP snooping prevent raw DHCP server attack. Dynamic R inspections prevent current R attack, DAI. And IP source guard prevent IP of MAC spoofing. Got it? This is our objective in the layer to attack landscape, attack and countermeasures. Any questions so far? Okay. Then general attack might be STP, spanning tree protocol attack. In STP, you can change root bridge by manipulating BPDU. That means priority. The default priority will be 32768. The lowest priority will be win as a root bridge. Okay. The attackers can use lowest bridge ID so that the attacker switch work as a root bridge. The point of using the root bridge is that all your traffic will going by the root bridge. That's why you have to block. You have to block STP with the customers. Most of the service providers give dual connectivity for the customers. The customer need dual connectivity from the service provider. The service provider give X VLAN for the customer from different POP. Let's assume this is a POP A and this is POP B. The customer is a hacker. Okay, and then you run STP with customer. But be careful. Don't run STP between service provider and the customers. Will not. Most of the case in context of Nepal, what most of the service provider do? They will put some passive device here, and that passive device work as a STP. But in reality, they will not pass STP. Okay? They negotiate the interface. They define one as a primary link, another as a secondary link. If that's primary link, the traffic move. In the secondary link, they will not learn MAC address. This work as a backup link. If primary link goes down, the traffic automatically redirect to the backup link. The same VLAN traffic. No need to worry. That means here you can put some device, passive device, and from that passive device you can address, you can use duo. From two different same services. Here, this work as a STP. But in reality, if your customers put some switch there and make STP and make that switch as a root bridge, all your traffic is routed from here to here. It should not be. How can you protect them? Spanning tree attack example. They can define the BPDU, they pass low BPDU and make a root bridge. He wants to try to become a root. How can we block them? What are the features? In most of the Cisco device, try to design loop topology where you are possible, you do not need STP, don't disable STP. introducing a root would become another attack. If you are not running STP, if you are not running STP in a network, don't disable STP from that switch. You can run STP in a switch, not with the customers. And you can add some BPDU guard or root guard. You can apply the root guard and BPDU guard should be run on all user-facing port and infrastructure-facing port. Disable port using port pass upon detecting a BPDU message on the port. Globally enable all port running port pass. It applicable in this catalyst switch. Say BPDU port pass. Yeah, global. STP attack mitigations, you can use root guard. Disable port, root became the root bridge due to their BPDU advertisement. They will not accept that BPDU from that interface. If you send BPDU, you will disable. The packet will be discarded. No need to worry. That's why you have to use root guard. Cisco Discovery Protocol CDP. To be frank, don't use CDP in your network. If you don't require, disable CDP. The command will be no CDP run. Okay. The another is BTP. One of the major problem most of the service provider is in service provider access suite. They put default configurations. That switch also connected with the customers. Customer switch also default. Okay, and by default, the BTP mode will be server. Both service provider and the customers. Whatever is, they will check revision number. Might be the revision number of the customer will be higher, or service provider might be higher. If you have defined a default port, BTP mode server, and put in the one of the access node, and cater the customer from that switch, and connect the switch with the customers, what happens? They will negotiate, they will check the configurations. All your configurations will replicate with customers. The customer will be suffered. The customer see all the VLAN in the service providers. Don't do that. That's why define BTP mode transparent. Don't use BTP mode server. Use BTP mode transparent. CDP attack event. Okay. Switch management. Management can be used weakest link. Manage can be used weakest link. All the break mitigation techniques we talk about are not, or must keep the attacker telnet into your switch and the disable. Right? Don't use telnet in your network. Disable it. Use SSH with version 2. Okay. Most of the networks management protocol we know and love are insecure, like syslog, SNMP, TFTP, Telnet, FTP. Don't use that. Okay. Consider secure variant of these protocols as they become available: SSS, SCP for the SSL, OTP, etc. Or you have to use out-of-band management, also available most of the switches. Where OT management is not possible, at least limit access to the management protocol using the set IP format. This what you're saying is you can define the ACL. Under that ACL, only allow your system or operations persons who daily need to access your device and apply that ACL in the BTY. BTY 0 to 15. Okay. Building the security. Port security, prevent CAM table and DSCP establishments attack. Dynamic R inspection, prevent current R attack. IP source guard, prevent IP map scoping. Okay, here to security best practices. Manage with in a secure manner as possible. Use SS version 2, use OOB, permit list, that means use access list, etc. Always use a dedicated VLAN ID for all transport. Be paranoid. Do not use VLAN 1 for anything. Okay. Don't use VLAN 1 for management traffic, don't use VLAN 1 for voice traffic, don't use VLAN 1 for control traffic, and don't use VLAN 1 for anything else. Okay, set all user port to non-trunking port unless you are Cisco wide. Deploy port security where possible for user port. Selectively use SNMP and treat community strings like root password. Okay. Have a plan to the ARP security issues in your network, ARP inspections, ideas, etc. Enable STP attack mitigations, BPD guard, root guard. Decide what to do. DSCP attack, use DSCP snooping or VLAN based ACL. Use MD5 authentication for BTP if you are using running BTP. Otherwise, not use. Okay. Define the BTP mode transparent always. If you are not running BTP, use CTP only where necessary with phone. It is useful. Disable all unused port and put them in the unused VLAN. That is the important things. Don't use open port. Shut down unnecessary port calls. Then apply other things. All of these preceding features are dependent on your own security policy. Okay. Any questions so far? Do you have any questions?
Something about limit weight.
Sorry?
Limit weight. While we configure this.
Okay. Limit rate, that means rate limit. You have to define the maximum threshold value. Okay. If you set threshold value 5, if attacker tried more than 5, they will give some all of us. Hi guys, the attacker is trying. What should we do? And you have to define some action. If this threshold value is, and what is the next action? The next action might be shut down. You have defined this shut down. Okay, the port will be shut down. So that the remaining customers or remaining users may not be affected due to this single customers. That is the advantage, that is the beauty of using the. Any questions? No questions? Okay, then the last one will be operational security and the policy. Is purely about the policy, might be physical and logical security, security management, and the security policy. It talks about the purely theory. One of the most neglected area of security is the physical and logical security. Okay. We have to think about it. I have already mentioned that the internal security is a major part. That's why we have to maintain our security policy. Don't give open access. Don't give open access to everyone. You have to define, you have to protect your data centers. Okay, like a server room and others, rest of things. Equipment access must be restricted. Password protections, avoid clear text. Console login, avoid using telnet, use SSS. Okay. Security management, network security is part of the bigger information security plan. That's why policy versus standards versus guidelines. It depends on your company need. Okay. Policy was must develop and implement comprehensive security policy. Minimum password length, frequency of password change, access to device, user creations and declaration process. Some of the companies, some of the users saying, wait, I want to change my password. What is my previous password? My previous password is Kathmandu. And it says Kathmandu 1, 2, 3. That is not sense. Don't use like this, use complex password. And changing Kathmandu and Kathmandu 1, 2, 3 is not changing a password. The hacker or cracker easily crack. Disaster recovery and attack mitigation plan also required. Policy standard and guidelines. Policy are aimed at informing users as well as lay out the baseline for security. Based on this policy, we can set up standards, including, for example, use of specific technology in a uniform way. Don't use network policy in ad hoc basis. Always should be pre-planned. It should be in a structured way. Otherwise, it's very difficult to work it. To identify the problem also, use always template based on your security policy. Create a template. Based on that template, your juniors, engineers can copy and paste it, and you can check it. And additional things you can fine tune. Okay? The guidelines are not mandatory, but best practice. That's why it's saying BCP, common best practice. We have to follow whatever the other industry people follow. We have to follow the same thing. First step, security policy, design policy, study and analyze your network environment, develop a threat model, perform a security vulnerability assessment, and implement policy. Use appropriate technology which you need. Either you can use multiple level of firewall, or you can use single level of firewall. It depends on your business need. If you need really secure, more secure, then you have to invest more. Okay? And another important thing is train all employees. The training is an important thing. Don't forget to train your colleague. Don't forget to train your staff. If you are in senior positions, you have to convey those messages to your managers or the BOD. Okay? The security is always comes with the training to the staff, training to the employee. Enforce policy, it should be automated and audit. Okay? Another important thing is everywhere the net broke down due to the human error. Don't use so many manual things. Use automation so that a human error will be mitigated. Security policy, a formal statement of rules by watching people who are given access to the organization's technology and information assist must have it. Create a baseline or framework of your networks, security implementations. Okay. Define the allowed behaviors, define the role of each and every users, and you have to define some group and assign the policy based on that group. Define how to handle security incident. It should be in the clear form. Security policy, what it should contain, the definitions, the identity, the trust, okay, enforceability, risk assessment, incident response. Okay, these are some points. Security will promote a continuous process of securing, monitoring, auditing, and managing. The security is not a single configurations. We have to monitor each and every time. What happens in our networks? We need to measure it. Secure the network by applying the security policy and implementing the security solutions. If you miss configure something in your one of your routers, one of the device, the attackers try to insert from that weakest point. That's why don't leave without policy in your device, live device. Monitor and response, audit and test, manage and improve. That means it is not a single, like the same policy may not be applicable for all over the all other companies. It might be different. Considerations for security policy. What are you trying to protect? It should be mentioned clearly. What data is confidential? What resources are precious? What are you trying to protect against? Unauthorized access to confidential data, malicious attack on network resources, and how to regulate issue after your policy. The security policy should include physical security controls, the media, equipment locations, environmental safeguard. Most of the ISP, they open a POP. It might be the inside Kathmandu or outside Kathmandu. The management does not bother about it. They need the connectivity. That's it. Doesn't matter with the doesn't matter with the environment and the physical access control for that device. Doesn't matter. But it should not be. What type of media they are using doesn't matter. What type of equipments and the location they are using doesn't matter. And environmental safeguards, They are not really worried. They are only worried about the payment, about the money. They are about the growth, that business. Okay. Logical security controls, subnet boundaries, routing boundaries, logical access control, it should be defined. Security policies should include system and data integrity, firewall, network services, data confidentiality, mechanism to verify, monitor security controls, accounting, management, and intrusion detections, etc. The security policies should include policy and procedure for staff, secure backup, equipment certification, use of portable tools, audit trail, incident handling. If you mention everything, you don't require panic whenever the problem occurs. You can easily do it. Basically, in the live network, what happens is, if any of this problem occurs, we always panic. Why? We have not documented everything. We don't have sufficient information about that. And we need to immediately stop that problem. That is also challenges. Appropriate security awareness training for use of corporate network. Security policy, formal statement of the rules by which people who are given access to organizations, technology, and information systems. ABI is RFC 2196. Proper informed users of this obligatory requirement for protecting technology and information access. Organization security, with structures, security audit, intrusion detections, access control monitoring, access control monitoring like honeypot, network traffic, and the security testing techniques you can use. We have to need penetration testings, we have to war driving, war dialing, virus detections, integrity checks, log review, password cracking, volunteer scanning, network scanning. Common testing tools might be can use Nmap, GFI Landguard, or Trapwire, or Mesos, or Midspite, or SuperScan, as per your need. Any questions? So far, do you have any questions? Okay, then thank you very much for passing. If you have any questions, let me know. My email address is ramkrishna@sumishu.net. I will be available anytime. If you have any problem, I am always ready. Okay, thank you very much.